Hey everybody, welcome back to another Road to 1000 Dueling book rating. So today we're going to be taking a look at Dinosaurs, and I am playing a interesting variant with mekk-knights and dinosaurs and Shaddoll monsters. So it's kind of like a mix of a lot of stuff, as well as like a little mini kaiju package. I actually have been really liking this deck a lot, but we're going to be taking a look at a lot of different variants over the course of the next couple of weeks. And because I'm going to be taking this to a regional very, very soon. Or not a regional, but a OTS Championship. So it might as well be like a little mini regional. You know what I mean. Anyways, also, quick disclaimer, I'm getting over a little bit of, I think, like a cold. I'm not exactly too sure. I don't, like, my throat's just kind of like hurting, but like other than that, like, I feel pretty good. But yeah, so if my voice sounds a little bit weird, that's why. Anyways, let's get into this. So he's going to be taking the first move, so we're going to be seeing a Shaddoll Fusion, and he's playing a cool tech of AD Changer, which is like the Shaddoll Incarnation trap card, except you don't need to banish a Shaddoll monster from your grave. So it's a light monster, so you can summon Construct, so that's what he's going to be doing. Then he's going to use Construct and Squamata to send Wendy as well as Hedgehog, and Wendy's going to set Beast from the deck, and Hedgehog's going to search for a Squamata. He's going to then use AD Changer to flip the Shaddoll Beast, then he's going to use its effect to draw 2 cards, and discard 1. Then he's going to link the Construct into a copy of Gravity Controller, and use Construct to add back the Shaddoll Fusion. He sets the fusion so we can have access to Winda on my turn, which is pretty good. Then I'm going to start off with a Fossil Dig searching for miscellaneous source, and an Oviraptor to send Rex. Evopill banishing the Cumulus Olds the Rex from my grave, the Cumulus from my hand, and then we can summon a Conductor to the field. Next, Rex's effect is going to summon itself back, and at this point I should make a Lagia, just expecting this to be an Shaddoll Fusion because I saw him at it back. But I decide not to do that, and I just decide to go into the battle phase, and I decide to attack for, actually, I think it's a smarter play to go into the battle phase like I do, just because I can deal more damage with, hitting into the Gravity Controller, but you'll see that in a second. So Conductor's going to attack the Beast, he's going to take 13, then he's going to take 25 from the Gravity Controller, and then he's going to take 1,000 from my Rex because it's not attacking directly, it's attacking the Gravity Controller because this can't be destroyed by battle. So it didn't die from battle from the Conductor, so Rex will attack it. And then the Oviraptor will also attack it for 1,800 total damage there. Moving into main phase 2, I decide to link off into an IP Masquerena, thinking that I can make the, because I already have the Pteranodon, so I can't summon, what's it called? I can't think of the name. Pinkertops. I can't summon Pinkertops from my deck due to the Pteranodon being in my hand. But I could go for a Baby Ceratosaurus and then summon a, any level 4, like another Miscellaneousaurus, and then we can link it off into a Unicorn and shuffle something by discarding the Pteranodon. And then we also have, a follow-up play with the Double Evolution Pill. But then he's going to go ahead on summon, he's going to use the Nibiru, which will go ahead and get everything off the field. He puts it in defense mode, and then the stats of it are 5,800 attack, 3,700 defense, and I pass turn to him. So in the end phase, he really should have used the Shaddoll Fusion, because it would have won him the game here if he used it in the end phase, and I'll kind of explain why in a second. But he's going to go ahead and use it now in his main phase, using the Nibiru as well as the Squamata into a copy of Construct, then using both effects again, sending the Wendy as well as the Shaddoll Incarnation. Wendy's going to set the Aerial, and then he's going to use the Shaddoll Incarnation, banishing the Construct to flip the Aerial. Aerial's effect's going to trigger to summon the Construct back from the grave, or from the Banish Zone, sorry. And then the Construct's going to trigger and send a Hedgehog to the grave, which will search him for another copy of Wendy. So if he did this, he basically could have done this without using any fusion spells, because if he used this, like the Shaddoll Fusion on my turn, he could have done this and then kept the Shaddoll Fusion, like he could link his stuff off, like he could link off the 2 constructs into a, what's it called? I can't think of the name for some reason. A cross shape, that's what it is. And then use both effects to add the both Shaddoll Fusion spell cards back to his hand. And at that point, he could then link, whatever he normal summoned Or he could then like fuse into like anything really he wanted to. Like he can fuse into an app cologne and then use like the cross shape to summon back from the grave, and then he can link all that off into a Boral Sword, normal summon the Wendy, and at that point he has game because he'll have Sword Wendy. And the token that I have is super big attack. It's 5800 attack. So if the Boral Sword took half of its attack, it would go up to, I believe, 5900, if that's right. And then he would also have the Shaddoll fusion in his hand at that point, so he can fuse off into a Wenda after he's done with all of that, and then he can kill me because he has the Phantasmace in hand that he can use as a dark, and the Wendy he could use as a light in the battle phase. So like, he had so much damage he could have put on the board. I believe it would have been a lot of damage. But anyways, he's just going to go ahead and use the construct to kill the token, and then the Wendy to attack directly. So I'm only going to be taking 6,500. So it pretty much would have put me down to 600 life points, and then like at this point he'd use the Shaddoll fusion to make the Wenda, which is what I mean. I'm not sure if you guys like quite see that play, but like he definitely could have won. He just missed the opportunity. So we're going to draw for turn. And then we draw into a beast, and so we're going to use double Evo Pill to banish, I believe, IP and Giant Rex. And it's going to summon Conductor, and then we can use the Rex to summon itself back. And Conductor's effect here, which he's going to then go ahead and scoop. Moving into game number 2. I believe that he makes us go first. Yep. Okay. So we have a Lost World and the Fossil Dig. So the interesting thing about playing against Shaddolls is that Shaddoll Fusion is a very, very good card. And if you end up negating this with Lagia, they can activate another one. So I don't know if it's exactly the right play to make a Lagia against Shaddolls. I don't think that it is when you're playing Dinosaurs. So I'm not exactly quite sure what to do. I think like what we should do is we should try and prioritize summoning Conductor Tyranno or something like that, or maybe trying to summon the Spell Trap Negate one, like the, not Lagia, but like the one that you can summon from your deck off of Evo Pill. So I don't know exactly what the right play is, but I definitely don't think it's what I do here. So we're going to go with a Fossil Deck, search out Oviraptor, and then we're going to use the normal summon of Oviraptor and the Lost World to give him a token. We're searching Miscellaneous Source here. And then we can use the Miscellaneous Source discard effect, and then we can use the Oviraptor to pop the token to attempt to summon the Miscellaneous Source here. And so a quick ruling here, by the way. This says you can target a level 4 lower dinosaur type on the field, destroy it, then special summon a dinosaur type monster from your graveyard. So if you use Lost World's effect here, which once per turn, no, I don't think you guys can see it on the screen here, but it says once per turn, if a normal monsters on the field will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur type monsters from your hand or deck instead. So instead of destroying the token, you're obviously going to destroy the Babysitter Source from your deck. So because you're destroying the token, or sorry, the Babysitter Source instead of the token, you're actually not going to be able to get the summon off Oviraptor. I've seen people do this, and in fact, I did it myself. But because of the then clause on this, this first part has to happen in order for the second part to resolve. Okay, so I've seen on the ARG tournament or whatever that he not only like attempt to pop the token, destroyed the baby, and summoned back the miss, but he also summoned a Dino from the grave from his deck, which is like an illegal play. You can only get the summon from grave, or you can get the summon from deck. You can't do both, just because of the way that the cards resolve. But yeah, so make sure you catch your opponents on that. They can't target the token, pop the baby, special from grave, and use the baby effect. That's illegal. So I'm going to use the miss effect, banishing the Babysitter Source as well as the Miscellaneous Source to go for Petit Pteranodon. Petit Pteranodon just destroys itself, not destroys itself, but it just gets destroyed because of Miscellaneous Source's effect in the end phase, which allows me to special summon Pinkertops. 1 second. Alright, had to cough there, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, so going on into his turn, he attempts to use the token as material for Almirage, but you can't because the token wasn't normal summoned. It was special summoned, so I catch him on the play and I say, wait, you can't do that. So he resets the game state. Next, he's going to use Shaddoll Fusion to attempt to fuse, and we actually let that go through because I kind of want to save my negate for the Shaddoll Fusion instead of the Shaddoll Fusion. But yeah. So he makes Construct, and he sends the AD Changer and the Skomata, sending Wendy and sending Incarnation. Wendy's effect's going to go ahead and set, I believe, Hedgehog here from his deck. Yep. And then he attempts to use the AD Changer, which he actually cannot do under the Lost World because you can actually only target the token. But we're going to fix the game state here in a second because, like, if that went through, I would have used the Pinkertops. But I realized, like, hey, you can't target the token. So we reset the game state here. He goes into battle phase and he uses the Construct to attack the Pinkertops. So I make a very interesting choice here. So my options here are, okay, let Construct resolve and destroy my Pinkertops. I could use Pinkertop's effect, tributing itself, target the Construct and destroy it, which gets him a Shaddoll Fusion or Shaddoll Incarnation or the Shaddoll Fusion back to his hand, which is not exactly something that I want to happen. Or I could use the Pinkertop's effect to pop the token and then use the Lost Worlds effect to protect. I think that the correct option here is maybe to use the Pinkertop's effect to kill the Construct, even though it's going to give him card advantage. I think that it probably is the right play here, but I opt to actually just let the Construct go through and destroy my monster. If I would have used the Pinkertops to kill the token, he could use the Construct to redeclare and just kill my Lagia instead, which is not something I really want to go through either. So then he's going to link off the Construct and the token into a copy of Cross Sheep. And then he's going to use the Shaddoll Construct to add back the Fusion. He's going to set Ariel from his hand and then use the Incarnation, banishing the Construct and itself to flip the Ariel. Ariel is going to then summon Construct from the banished zone. Cross Sheep's then going to trigger and summon Skomata, and Construct is going to send. Although I think he actually decided not to send with Construct. I think he missed it. AD Changer is going to flip the Hedgehog, and he's going to search for Shaddoll, or just Shaddoll Fusion, sorry. And then he uses it, and I'm going to negate it with Lagia. Then he links off into a Alistair the Invoker. Then he's going to use the Construct to add back the Fusion, and then use the Fusion effect to go ahead and fuse from his deck, because I did negate it, and I do control Monster Summon for the extra deck. So I believe he sends Dragon and Alistair, it looks like. So that's going to pop my pop my field spell. Then the Invoker's gonna send the Beast from his hand to search for the invocation. Then he's going to draw a card from Beast's effect. And then he uses Invocation to, I believe, make Makaba here. Next, Invocation's effect is going to shuffle itself back into the deck, and he's going to add an Alistair to the hand. He's going to set the Shaddoll Fusion and pass his turn to me. So, on my turn, I decide to banish 2 monsters and go for a Conductor Tyranno, and I make a severe misplay here by attacking the Makaba first. So, what I should have done is I should have used the Conductor to kill the Ariel, to kill the Hedgehog, kill the Skomata, kill the Winda, kill the Alistair, then kill the Makaba, or attempt to attack for the Makaba, and then he would have been forced to, because like this is playing around Alistair, but I completely forgot Alistair was a card, so he's going to actually discard the Alistair, increase its attack by 500, and it's going to kill both monsters. So then I just use Lagia to kill over the Winda, and if I would have done it the other way, I could have attacked for 1, 2, 3, so 3,000, as well as, actually, I probably wouldn't have used it for the Skomata, or maybe all of these effects, honestly. I probably would have just attacked them all, unless if I had damage. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, that's 3,000, 43, as well as 17, so that's 6,000. Yeah, it would have been game, so I definitely should have just attack, and then crash, and then Lagia attacks for game. That was my mistake. I should have seen that, but I actually didn't. So it looks like we both are making mistakes in our games, but that's okay because we learn from our mistakes. So we go ahead and special summon our Blue Sky because we're not locked under the Windows restriction anymore, and we can search for 2 mekk-knight cards. So we search for purple as well as red, and then we can go ahead and use, I believe, I'm not exactly sure what we do here. Looks like we link off into an IP. And then on the summon, he's going to use the Shaddoll Fusion to make App Cologne. So he does this because Ariel's going to trigger banished cards from my graveyard, Shaddoll's going to send Skomata's going to send a card from the deck to grave, and Apicalone's going to negate my IP. So he banishes blue, Miss, and a Conductor, which is fine. I don't know why he didn't also banish the Oviraptor instead of the blue, because that's playing hard into the pill, which he knows I play because I played it the last round, so I'm not exactly sure why he didn't do that. Then he's going to use the, let's see. So he uses Invoker to discard Beast, Wendy's effect from Skomata as well. So he's going to get the search for Invocation, then he's going to special from Wendy, I believe, or draw a card, then special from Wendy. That's right. So he specials the Dragon, which he can use to destroy cards on my field. So, yeah. Anyways, I activate Shaddoll Fusion, which is going to fuse Beast as well as Coatless, get a summon for Wenda, and I'm going to use the Coatless effect to add Pill and draw a card off Beast's effect. So, yeah, that's just a major, like, gimme +2 for free, pretty much, is what Shaddoll Fusion is there. So we're going to link off the IP as well as Wenda into a copy of Unicorn to shuffle back the Apicalone, so he doesn't get, like, extra searches on his turn. Then we're going to use Wenda to add back the Shaddoll Fusion, and then we go ahead and I believe just use the double evolution pill to summon out the Conductor. We can special purple to our field as well, and we can set a card. And also looks like we're going to summon the red and link off into an Appaloosa with 2 negates. Moving to his turn, he's going to go ahead and activate El Shaddoll Fusion, which is fine, fusing Wendy as well as Hedgehog from the deck into an Apicalone, and attempting to negate the Construct. Or sorry, not the Construct, the Conductor. There's a lot of like con names, so that's why I keep getting a little confused. So we're going to chain Conductor's effect, destroying itself. So it's going to flip his monsters, and then he's going to flip summon the Dragon to target the Appaloosa. He didn't actually specify which card he was targeting, and so I initially was like, okay, Appaloosa negate, but then I asked him, wait, like, which card were you targeting? And he was like, oh, I'm gonna target the Appaloosa, and I was like, okay, then I'll let that go through. Then he uses the invocation, banishing the Lagia as well as the Alistair from his graveyard for a Purgatrio. Also, I want to mention the reason I negated that with the Appaloosa was because my Appaloosa would have been from the, let's see, it would have been down to 0 attack, and then he could just use the Shaddoll Dragon to hit it anyways, or like I knew he had the invocation, so he would make Purgatrio, and then at that point he can just pretty much attack me directly without attacking me directly. So I was like, okay, if I just let this go through, he can't like attack me directly through the Appaloosa. So I just decided to let the Dragon bounce go through, and then he's gonna use the Purgatrio, or sorry, the invocation to add back the Alistair from the banish to his hand. He's going to flip the Hedgehog, link everything off into a Boral Sword, and we just scoop it up here because that's well over 8,000 damage. Moving on into the third and final game for this match. So, he's going to start off with Shaddoll Fusion, fusing AD Changer and Shaddoll, actually, I'm not sure, looks like Beast. And then he's going to make the Construct. So every single game he ended up drawing AD Changer, Shaddoll Fusion, and a like Shaddoll monster, which I mean, the deck's pretty consistent, but like it was just kind of crazy. Beast is going to allow him to draw a card, and he sends Wendy off of the Construct to set Skomata. So Skomata has the like destruction effect, but we can definitely play around that. He's then going to link off in a Gravity Controller and use its effect to add back Shaddoll Fusion, setting 2 back row and ending his turn. We go for our draw, and we start off with a Shaddoll Fusion, fusing Beast as well as, I believe, Rex here for a Shekanaga. So the reason I go for this instead of Coatless is because I already have the Evopill in hand, so this already makes my, like, it basically gives me the same amount of pluses I would have normally got, but it turns my Rex into or my pill into a Rex, but it's kind of hard for you guys to, like, hard for me to explain that, but yeah. Anyways, like, at this point, the really interesting thing, you can maybe see with the watchers chat, I'm not sure if y'all should be able to see that, but basically what's happening is this is the last match of the like server reset, so it's really weird, and a lot of people start joining, like the resource judge, and he's like, just like a heads up that we're gonna be starting, like we're gonna reset the server. So this game gets pretty popular, and there ends up being like 50 watchers by the end of it, which is really weird since we don't have a lot of rating. Anyways, rant's over. We're gonna use the Evo pill to banish the Rex as well as the Beast for a copy of Coatless to negate one of his back row. And then we're going to go ahead and use Rex's effect to summon itself back. Then we can go ahead and use the, let's see, what do we do here? I kind of forget, honestly. We're going to make Miscellaneous, and we're going to link off into a Phoenix to destroy one of the back row. I believe we target the Shaddoll fusion, which he chains. Yep. And I'm going to use the Coatless effect to destroy it. And then I can go ahead and use the Coatless effect to search, but I actually ended up missing it for some reason. I should have done that. I should have searched it because, let's see, right? This card's destroyed by a card effect, and that definitely is a card effect. So I definitely missed my chance to search for another Evo pill, but that's fine. We link everything off into a Unicorn, and we discard the Shaddoll fusion to destroy the back row, but he's going to chain the Dino Mistress to send the Unicorn, and then he's going to get a set from the deck. So he sets Shaddoll Beast from Wendy's effect, which is fine. Next, we're going to banish 2 dinos for a Conductor, because those were the last 2 dinos from our... actually, we don't really want to banish the Rex, even though it is a dino, but we definitely don't want to do that. Conductor is going to send the Beast to the grave, because I don't want the draw effect to trigger, so... yeah. Anyways, he's going to take 1,000, he's going to draw a card, and then I'm going to attack the Skomata. And then he's going to use the effect as well to send another card. And I'm going to hit the Gravity Controller as well for 2,500. Hedgehog's going to trigger, and he's going to search for a Wendy. And then the Construct's going to hit for 25. Or sorry, I keep saying Construct. Conductor hits for 25. And we pass my turn to him. And he draws an Invocation for turn. He's going to set the Skomata, and I believe he uses the AD Changer to flip it to get rid of my Conductor, which I chain the effect to pop the baby, and then it's going to destroy it. Then baby's effect's going to summon Oviraptor, and I should have put this in attack mode, because I think here in a second you'll see why, or I guess the Gravity Controller can literally just kill it. But we're gonna search for, I believe, another Conductor there, or a miss. I can't remember. I don't know which I searched for actually. Looks like I searched for Conductor. Then he goes into battle phase and he attacks over with Gravity Controller. So I definitely should have put the Oviraptor in attack mode, but you know. He's going to fuse off into a copy of Wenda, and then he uses the Wendy effect to specially Hedgehog from his deck. And Wenda will hit me for 2,200. So at this point, I have a lot of follow-up. I do have an Evenly, so I could evenly his board, but I don't think it's the right play here. I think I just go ahead for the Conductor effect, but we'll see. So it looks like I banished 2 for Conductor. I could have definitely had the Evenly, but yeah. So I go for the Conductor, hit the Wenda for 13, and then I hit for 1,000 and 1,000, and now it's game. So yeah, there was 42 watchers, which is crazy. Anyways, that's it for that game. Moving on into our next game. We are playing against Altergeist. So he uses a Pot of Extravagance to draw 2. He uses the Marionetter to set Protocol. So we have a Protocol to play around here, because this is kind of like a Solemn Strike, I guess, and it gets monster effects by tributing an Altergeist monster. And then he sets some back row. So we go ahead and go into the battle phase, and we use the Evenly Matched, which he hits with a Solemn Judgment, which is fine. Then we use the Fossil Dig to search for a Oviraptor. Normal the Ovi, and uses the Imperm on it, so we chain Miscellaneous, and he chains Protocol to negate it. So at this point, I could have actually used Miscellaneous. I had no idea this effect was actually not once per turn. I guess it doesn't matter if it is once per turn or not, but yeah, this part is not once per turn. You can discard another Miscellaneous, so I should have just discarded another one. But I decided not to do that for some reason. Well, not for some reason, because I didn't know that was a play. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pass my turn, and I really should have just done that because I had no idea that was a play. But then he's going to go ahead and normal summon Silquidus and pass his turn. So he's got a lot of stuff here because he has the manifestation, so he can have a bounce. So we go ahead for a normal Giant Rex. I don't know if it's the right play for me to tribute over the Dogoron or whatever, and then like make a rank 4 or something. But he's going to use the Altergeist manifestation to, and then chain the Silquidus to bounce the Rex to hand, which I'll chain the Miscellaneousaurus, which he's going to chain Protocol. So the Rex is going to go to the hand, Silquidus to the grave, and yeah. Miss is going to banish 2, which he chains Ghost, Sister, and Spooky Dogwood, which I don't know why he's playing this card instead of playing Ash, but whatever. He's going to gain 500 life points back. We're going to hit him for 200 and then hit him for 500, but he's going to actually use the Conquery and negate the Oviraptor, which is fine. We then tribute over his Marionetter, because if I leave the Marionetter, he's going to summon back the Silquidus, so I decide just tributing over it is probably the best plan. Then in end phase, Miscellaneous kills the Petite Pteranodon and searches for Oviraptor, which he doesn't gain 1800 life points, which he should have here. I'm not sure why he didn't think about that. But he's going to use the Dogoron to kill my Oviraptor instead of killing this Oviraptor, because Oviraptor could actually destroy itself, but this one's permanently negated, so I actually can't use that effect. So he goes for a manifestation in the standby phase to bring back the Silquidus, which is fine. We have an interesting board to play around, so we go for a mekk-knight blue, which I'm not sure why he doesn't negate this here, but we just let it go through. We search for the purple as well as the red. He gets a little confused, but I tell him, like, hey, there's 2 cards on the column, and so he understands now. Rex is going to be normal summoned here. He's going to use the Silquidus to bounce the Rex to hand, which is fine. Then we're going to use the purple to summon itself, link it off as well as the blue into a copy of Phoenix to destroy the last back row, which is Imperial Order, which is fine. We then special Red Moon and use its effect to pop the Silquidus, and then he's going to use the Silquidus to add back, or I guess he negates it with something, or he negates it with Protocol. I don't know, I'm confused. But he adds back the manifestation, so yeah. He's going to go with a Conductor effect. Oh, sorry, I'm going to banish 2 for a Conductor, then summon back the Rex. And then we can use Conductor to pop the Phoenix to set the Dogoron. Alright, sorry about that, I had to cough again. So, we go into the battle phase, we attack with Dolka, which uses the Conquery, which we negate. Then we attack directly for 3,500 and pass the turn to him. He draws into a Red Lotus and scoops it up. Moving into game number 2. Looks like we start, he starts it off again with a Marionetter with such manifestation, and he's going to set all of his back row. So, in the standby phase, we go ahead, looks like we actually go with a Foolish Burial, and then chain the Cosmic Cyclone to kill the Imperial Order. We hold the Cosmics for the reason that if he would to use the Protocol, or Spoofing, or any of those cards like these ones, we can actually proactively chain our Cosmic Cyclone to negate those cards. So that's why we do that. Anyways, so we banish it with the Cosmic Cyclone, and then it resolves, we send Beast, and we draw a card. He uses the Protocol to negate that, which we chain the Cosmic here, but it looks like he actually does have a personal spoofing, and I probably should have waited for him to use the personal spoofing, actually, because I don't really care that much about the draw, but whatever. So he's going to use the spoofing to shuffle back the Altergeist card, search for a Faker. We don't get the draw, and he's going to special summon Multi-Faker and the Silquidus. So he does have a bounce here, which is still pretty rough. We're going to normal summon Oviraptor, though, and see if we can play around it. So we search for Rex, and then we use the double evolution pill, banishing the Rex and the Beast for a copy of Conductor, and then use the Rex effect to summon itself back. So I actually am not playing Tornado Dragon, I think, but I don't know if he knows that, but he's going to use the Silquidus to bounce the Multi-Faker to bounce my Rex, which I chained the Conductor effect to set the Silquidus. And then he is like, wow, you have everything. And he decides just to scoop there, even though like the winner isn't very clear at all, because I could definitely make a rank 4. Maybe, I don't think I had the Tornado Dragon at this point in my extra deck, but like making the Laggia still would have been great. Then I don't know if he could play around that, but yeah. So that'll be it for that game. Moving on into our third and final match, we are playing against the Teller Knight, so he's going to start off with a Vega, which summons a Teller Knight monster from the hand, which is Yunkali or whatever, which is a Foolish Burial, and yeah. Then he's going to overlay into this like card. I don't know what a lot of these cards do, but he pretty much just like detaches and overlays into the other one, which is like a Trishula, I guess. Not like the banish from field or grave, but like it sends one from my hand to the grave, which is fine. He sends Oviraptor, which is fine. He sets the counter trap as well as the impermanence to negate stuff and passes it to me. So we start off with the Pinkertops and we use the effect to attempt to pop, I believe, his monster, which he negates, which is whatever. He draws a card, which is okay. Then his Trivier is going to summon back from the grave, which summons another monster from the grave. And yeah, searches for the guy that can summon from the grave as well. And then he, then I can use the Lost World effect, and then use both to banish both of my dinos from the grave, summon Conductor, give him a token, and he uses Imperm on my my Conductor, and I chain the Conductor effect, and I flip his monsters face down, and I search for a Shaddoll Beast off of Hedgehog's effect. We attack with Miscellaneous Source into the token, and then we can use its effect to pop and then baby. And at that point, he scoops up the game, which is really interesting because I couldn't have used Conductor to attack everything, so I don't know what he was really thinking there, but that's fine. Moving on into game number 2. I believe he starts. Yep. So he starts with he sets Compulse, normals Vega, which specials from hand, and then he's going to get a search. And then he's going to overlay into the same, basically the same play as last game. Overlaying to this guy, and then discarding and overlaying into the next guy. Detaching and hitting a card out of my hand, which is fine. He passes it to me. I use Twin Twister to hit the last back row. And then I use Foolish to send Coatless to the grave, which searches for Pill. Next, I set the Pill and I special blue, which lets me search for purple. And then I can go ahead and use Pill to banish the Rex as well as the purple from my hand into a copy of Conductor. So now I use the Rex to summon itself back, and I attack over his monster, and then he uses the effect, and I go ahead and I chain the Crow to it. I hit him for 2,000, and at this point he's in a pretty rough spot, so I pass my turn to him. He normal summons his monster, special summons, and we use Conductor's effect on resolution of his search to set them face down. He sets the Compulse, which is fine, and we go ahead and discard the Miss for its effect. Then we banish 4 dinos, I believe, into a copy of Oviraptor, and then we can special the Rex back, and we can search for Oviraptor, and I think we can overlay, yeah, we overlay in a Tornado Dragon, which we put in the extra deck from the last time. He uses Compulse on it, which is fine. We normal the Oviraptor because we have exactly enough damage, or I think a little bit more than exact, I'm not too sure. So yeah, he's going to take 2,000, then 2,000, and then 18 for game. So that's going to do it for today's Road to 1,000 Dueling Book ratings, so I'm going to move over to the deck profile. So this is what the deck list looks like. Sorry if it's a little blurry, that's just how Dueling Book looks right now. I'm not exactly sure why that is. But yeah, so this is the deck list right now. It's 43 cards in the main deck, and then obviously 15. I think I need something to go second in this list, so I think like trading out these Twin Twisters for something else, or trading out like, you know, just any of these cards for like a trap card for going second, like different Dimension Grounds is probably the way to go. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's Road to 1000 rating. So I will see you guys in the next one, where I think we're going to be playing a more of a kaiju variant of this deck. Yeah, that's going to be it, and I'll see you guys next time.